Hi, I'm Sandra Olson, and today we're going to make the core recipe from the Budwig protocol that is helping to heal so many people who have cancer and other conditions. Flaxseed oil is a highly unsaturated oil and contains essential fatty acids that the body needs every day, but that most of us do not get in our regular diets. Research has shown that essential fatty acids help to protect our cells. An important part of this recipe is the bonding of flaxseed oil and cottage cheese. The sulfur protein components in the cheese make the oil water soluble and help to carry it into the cells where it is needed. It also thins the blood so that it flows more easily. So let's get started with this very important recipe. I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of cold pressed flaxseed oil. And I'm using the Barlean's brand, which is a favorite of many people. Of course, you can use your own brand of flaxseed oil that you find at a local store. Be sure to buy the regular flaxseed oil rather than the high lignin, because we're going to be grinding our own flax seeds and the lignins are in the hulls. And also look for the expiration date to make sure that you have plenty of time to use the oil during the time that it's going to be fresh. Next, I'm going to use organic low-fat cottage cheese to go with the oil. Now I'm using Nancy's brand cottage cheese, which has probiotics, and they're very good for the digestive tract. Of course, you can use whatever brand you find that is good. Organic is excellent, and you want it to be low-fat. I'm using 6 tablespoons of cottage cheese because our ratio is 2 to 1 of cheese to oil. And it doesn't have to be exact. Notice I'm using rounded tablespoons. You can also make your own cheese. Some people do. They make quark, or you could make yogurt cheese or kefir cheese. Now I'm going to blend the oil and the cheese with an immersion blender. And that's what this is. It's a long stick type blender with one blade, and is especially good for blending small amounts of food. This step is really critical because it's the core to the Budwig diet. So it's important to blend these two foods so that they bond. And the bonding is essential because the sulfur proteins in the cheese connect with the oil molecules and make the oil water soluble, allowing it to easily be digested and assimilated into the cells of the body where it can do its work. Now typically it takes about a minute to blend these two foods, and I'm just going to ease the blender in and out of the cheese and oil as I blend. All right, now what we have is a very thick whipped cream like result. It's sort of like a thick creamy yogurt, and that is exactly what we're looking for. We want to make sure that there is no oil separated from the cheese. That's the goal. Then you know that the two are really bonded. And now I'm using 2 tablespoons of whole brown flax seeds. And brown flax seeds are cheaper than golden flax seeds, and they're the ones that we prefer. I'm going to put them into the coffee bean grinder so that we have freshly ground flax seeds to put in our recipe. And I need to grind this for about a minute so that they're well ground into very small bits. So I'm going to do that now. And they come out nice and fluffy. And I'm going to put them into my mixture and stir it around. Now, if the recipe is a little too thick at this point, you could add a little more milk. It's depending on how thick your cheese is. But this looks pretty nice. It's a nice density. You could even add juice if you wanted to, some organic grape juice or something. I'm going to put this mixture into our bowl. And we've got a nice fluffy recipe here, kind of like a pudding at this point. And it looks really good, and especially once we add our fruit, it's going to make a big difference. The value of freshly ground flaxseed is that they offer fresh lignans, which are major cancer fighters, plus they contain omega-3 fatty acids. So don't buy packages of already ground or milled seeds because they lose their value within 15 minutes or so. And so it's best to buy regular whole brown flax seeds. They're less expensive and they're healthier if you grind them yourself. Next, let's add some fresh fruit to our recipe. Dr. Budwig emphasized the value of berries. And in the last several years, there's been a lot of research showing the strong cancer-fighting value of all kinds of berries because they have ellagic acid, and that's what fights the cancer. So I'm taking a half cup of blueberries and adding those to our recipe. And I'm going to take some strawberries and add those. You can also add different kinds of fruit, whatever you happen to like. But let's just stir these around a little. Okay, and now I'm going to add a little Brazil nut flavor to it. Brazil nuts have selenium, and that's a strong cancer fighter. Be sure that you're choosing raw nuts, not roasted, not heated in any way, because the heat can damage the oils that are in them. And when I buy raw nuts, I usually keep them in my refrigerator to protect the valuable oils in them. I'm going to also add some walnuts that I have already broken apart. And that's it. It took about 5 minutes to make this meal, much faster than making an unhealthy breakfast such as bacon and eggs. And this is really delicious. It will fill you up and stay with you until you're ready for your homemade vegetable juice during the mid-morning. That's what's next on your menu. So here's to healthy eating. I'll see you at the next meal.